Bow chicky bow wow. How's it going, everybody? Welcome. It's November. This is a weird one because I bet a lot of you are expecting audit stream. Today's not audit stream day. Let me just get things going here. Dun, 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 dun. There we go. Yes, I do watch myself on my phone as I'm streaming live. What's up, y'all Nats? How's it going, everybody? So we've got kind of a cool one today. I want to talk to you guys about a couple of things before we get into the meat and potatoes of what I want to talk about today. I'm just going to throw it out there right off the bat. What would you think if there was a Rust Admin Academy certified logo that you all could add to your servers that says this admin or this owner has gone through the process of learning everything that I teach and now has srtbull's stamp of approval on this server? What do you guys think of that? Hit that like button, everybody. Don't forget to hit that like button as you're coming in. Costs you nothing, helps me out a ton. Let me move this over here. So here's how my day went. I went to work expecting a full day of work. I didn't get that full day of work. I was like, I told them, I was like, you know what? I had some no-shows. I'm leaving early, so I left at like 1:30, 2 o'clock, something like that. Burned home, got prepared for today's stream. I was so excited. Of course, I had a couple of wobbly pops while I was doing some things, and now I'm feeling pretty good. It's Friday. It's November 1st. It's wintertime. Love it. Love it. So here's kind of what yeah, that's so true, BMG Jet. That's a good point. Oh, you know what? I'm going to change this because it doesn't have the chat on there. Yeah, that's so much better. I think I figured out a lot of people have complained to me. We'll say complained. A lot of people have mentioned to me that they can't have the live chat replay when they're watching this stream later. So I think I've got that sorted out. But this is why I did this right here, was so that if the live chat replay doesn't work for whatever reason, because apparently that is a thing with YouTube, that they'll at least have that anyways. So 5 days ago, I put out a post, a community post, which I don't do nearly often enough. And it looks like this. So I just wanted to know from you what you want from me going forward, because I've done the basics, I've done the advanced stuff, I've also done premium plugin reviews, I've tried to sell you guys on hundreds of dollars, if not thousands of dollars of premium plugins. I show you the value in them, I show you how to use them, I show you why I use them on my own servers, because that is an important detail there. If you see it on my channel, there's a 85 to 90% chance that I use that plugin on my own server. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. And so I was asking what you all wanted from me going forward. And bear in mind that I do have a couple of things in the works. I've got a couple of irons in the frying pan right now. And which in hopes of bringing you more content that is going to help you help advance what it is that you're trying to do. That's basically what I'm working on in the background. So, hoi hoi har. You can ask your questions in chat, but the specific questions that I'm going to be talking about, and I want to have this discussion with you all too, is from that community post. So I have that all prepared, ready to go, but I, of course, will always take your chat questions in chat as well. Yeah, hard style. Exactly. That's right. What's a wobbly pop? A wobbly pop is a think they called it mead back in the day. Let's call it that. Adult apple juice. There you go. There you go. A carbonated adult apple juice. Perfect. I love it. Nuclear launch codes. Yeah. A new era idea. You learn how to make plugins while teaching others as well. Yes, except there is 2 crews out there right now doing that exact same thing. They're not doing it live or on YouTube like I do, but they are doing exactly that. Sort of. Yeah, cider. Let's call it cider. Exactly. All right, so that was the question, was what can I do for you all? And the responses I got were not surprising and somewhat comical. And we're going to go through some of these. And of course, you all are more than welcome to ask in chat or mention in chat what you would like to see going forward, because that is basically the long and short of this is, if I'm not providing you something that you need, what am I doing here? You know, I can give you all the advice in the world, but if it's not the advice that you're looking for, what am I doing here? Right? Hoi hoi har. So I do try to pronounce names correctly, and that one was a challenging one, not going to lie. Followed all of your tutorials on hosting my own Rust server. It works very well, but it is very, very laggy. Any idea how to fix that? Well, if you're hosting that server on your own local network and it's laggy for you, then it's really laggy for the people that are joining your server. And that is 100% down to your internet provider or your network within your house or wherever it is that you're living. Rust Edit 2, that's a good one. That's a good one. We should talk about that. I don't have any information right now on Rust Edit 2, but it is becoming a common theme. And speaking of common themes, you guys are going to see why I find these results comical to my post. Anyways, we'll get to that in just a second. Absolutely. Exoida, thank you for that reminder. Don't forget to hit that like button on the way in, or while you're here sitting here waiting. Speaking of that, I hadn't liked my own video yet, so I have now taken care of that. We currently have 30 viewers, but only 14 likes. Anyways. Profile the server and find out what's causing the lag. Yes, I'm waiting for the response there, though. Okay, so hoi hoi, I need to know, is this a local host server, or if you're paying a hosting provider for it? Hardstyle, I will do that as soon as I get a second. I will definitely check on that DM. Bear with me. Yeah, that's exactly right. There's a ton of things that can make a server lag. Too many plugins, not enough network, not enough RAM, is too big a map. There's a ton of things that can affect your server's performance. Yeah, Mr. G, that's oh, Mr. G, thank you for becoming a YouTube member. Mr. G has become a gold member on YouTube. Thank you so much for that. I didn't forget. And oh, look at that. They've got the goal thing on there too. That's so silly. Anyways, there's an issue when people are using an M249 attack the blueberries, they get kicked with a message saying RPC error. They know about that and have been working on it. They fixed most of those issues. I didn't know that blueberries specifically were getting people kicked. So let's get into some of these responses. So again, the question was, what can I do for you to help you along your journey? And this was the first response that I got. Shopee stock. And on a previous stream, I did say that I was going to do a video on Shopee stock, and I fully intend on doing that. In fact, before I move on 1 second further, Let me write that down. Yes, I do actually write things down with pen and paper. November 2024. We want Shopee stock. I really like the plugin. I only seen it real quick when we were doing a server audit. And I love the concept of Shopee stock. I like the economy. I like the trading market. Love it. Absolutely love that idea. How do you attack a blueberry? You shoot at it. Check out staging branches. Really, you would like to see that. That's interesting. I'm not opposed. Checking out staging branches is a little bit finicky because as we saw heading into the October wipe, so this is going in through September, they changed a lot of things during that whole debacle. Okay, so hoi, there we go. So it is on their computer. Okay, so are you hosting the server on the same machine that you're playing on? Because that can be seriously detrimental. Well, first of all, Rust by itself is incredibly resource heavy. The server itself is resource heavy. And then the client is, I would say, even more resource heavy. So while you say you might have a ton of resources, you may not. When you consider like the absolute bare minimum RAM that is required to run a server smoothly is, they say 10, I say 12. I would love to see 16. And then you need the client RAM as well. So that can stack up pretty quick. Okay, so Rust Edit 2, I don't know. I don't have an answer to that. I've heard both responses. I've heard yes, it's coming, and I've heard no, what the hell are you guys talking about? We never mentioned Rust Edit 2. Why are we talking about Rust Edit 2? So, there you go. How to make your own wallpapers and spray decals. BMG Jet has a super cool plugin that deals with exactly that. The server FPS is around 250 to 300. You don't have to be that high. Limit your FPS to like 50 at the absolute top. A lesson on how to add monuments or structures. Okay, I've done that on previous videos. Not that specifically. It was in connection with the project that I was working on at the time. I think it was the Bank Vault, plugin, which has been completely rebuilt from the ground up and is absolutely awesome. But yeah, I have done that in the past. Okay, check Rust Edit Discord, very last channel. Okay, I will. Oh yeah, it's always within reach. Right hither. Yeah, Mr. G, exactly. Set your FPS to 50 or 60. It doesn't need to be that high. So I'm sensing a theme here, a strong theme, which is you want to see some Rust Edit stuff. And I'm going to be totally honest with you. Like, I'm comfortable with Rust Edit, but nowhere near where I would need to be in order to teach it out. But I would be more than happy to bring in people that are fantastic with Rust Edit and see if they wouldn't mind being on stream or at least on a recorded video and see what we can come up with. Yeah, hardstyle, exactly. I think mine are actually set to 40 as well. You're wasting a lot of resources when you go higher than that. It doesn't need to be any higher than that. Anyways, let's go on to the next response, which I thought was an interesting one. So again, the question was, what can I bring you to be more successful with hosting your server? And the response was, I'm a new subscriber, but I'm most concerned about keeping cheaters away from the servers. What are the best anti-cheat mods? and maybe a list of necessary mods would be nice too. So on that, while I agree 100% that keeping cheaters out of your servers is incredibly important, I have two arguments for you. One, there isn't an efficient plugin out there that is going to do the job for you. It will help you, it will assist you, but it's not going to do it for you. So you have to be able to interpret the information that these plugins will spit out to you, and then you need to do your own investigation on that player and decide whether they're cheating or not. So that's a tough one. Secondly, I don't talk about this type of stuff on my lives or on my recorded videos for one very, very important reason. I don't want the cheaters to know what we know. So, and that makes it really difficult, especially somebody new coming in. Because if you came to me on my Discord right now and said, hey, teach me how to catch cheaters, I'd be like, I don't know if I want to teach you the things that I know, because you could be one of them or a developer of a cheat platform. And I could be giving you all of the insider secrets that you need to circumvent in order to maintain being a cheater. So you can see that weird balance that we have to, that line that we have to walk. And it's incredibly difficult. It is information that it's important for legit server owners to have. It's just really hard to get that information to you, if that makes sense. The only thing official that's been said about Rust Edit 2 is that it isn't going to be taking requests anymore, since any work on Rust Edit takes away from time working on Rust Edit 2. Valid point. Rust crashes when I tab out. What's the fix? Chances are pretty good you need to download more RAM. Just a guess. Check your RAM usage. Yeah, hardstyle. That's a great point, actually. I didn't cover that aspect. So just because you're limiting your server's FPS to, let's say, 30 or 40, that doesn't mean you're limiting your player's FPS to 30 or 40. That's an important detail. Yeah, it's so hoi hoi. It's a server command, a console command. You would do server.fps and then put in that number, whether you want it to be 30 or 40, and then do a write CFG after that. Unexpected void. Yes and no. He doesn't really. So the comment is, Komomo already spilled the beans on this. Yes and no. He doesn't tell everything that he uses in the background. And that's for the exact reason that I just said. He doesn't want to know, or he doesn't want the cheaters to know what he knows. Oh, sorry, FPS limit. Yeah. Oh my God, you're so right. It's not server FPS, it's fps.limit. Good call. I did, Schmenkins, I did. I did say download more RAM. I was hoping that most people would realize that I was kidding. All right, so the next comment was a confusing one for me. So the response was play a wipe, and we're going to get to that second part, as I couldn't get a good feel for them myself due to high ping. Okay, so what they're talking about there is Karuza's vehicles plugins. And you're going to see a common theme tonight about Karuza's vehicle plugins, because a lot of the responses were talking about Karuza's vehicle plugin. And I've reached out to Karuza. We're in talks right now. We're working out some details. We're good to go. Chances are really good that it's going to be the next video. Based on what I've seen of Karuza's vehicles plugin, it's going to be an extensive one. So I want to spend a ton of time with it. I want to know it inside and out, so that when I present it to you all, I know all of the details. And there's quite a few details that are going to be important. So that's where I'm at with that one. Now, the play a wipe part, Mr. Vane 5.0, excuse me, I'm confused about that. So I play Rust every month, every wipe. Maybe not as often as I would like to, but I'm definitely playing. Now, do you mean stream a wipe? Now, that would be weird, especially the way I play. But I'm not opposed to it. Won't 40 FPS make the... No, it could actually improve performance by lowering your FPS, your server FPS. Did you ever find out if you can give that first several players to join your... I did. Somebody sent me a plugin. I think it's on CodePlaying. I think it was Death that sent it to me. But yes, I did get that answer. Sort of. Isn't server FPS the same as tick rate? Absolutely not. Totally different things. Old Bitches Gaming OBG. I have the helicopters, 4 of them. I didn't see. Now I'm already learning something. I didn't know that you had to get different sections of available vehicles. Good to know. So yeah, hardstyle. That's actually a valid point. I don't ever want to do that again. That was a nightmare for me. I regretted that for days after that video. Do a subscriber server with the plugins you've showcased. Do a subscriber server. Oh, like a server where only my subscribers can go? Interesting. Could play the wipe at the same time. That's a valid point. Yeah, BMG. Is it okay? So 25 is the number. Yeah, I thought it was right in that arena. That's why I have mine at 40. I've had it as low as 30 before, and my players have never noticed the difference. So good point. You have to buy the base of the helicopters, and then you can purchase additional helicopters or whatever. Okay, cool. Good to know. Caruza sells the vehicles separately. Okay, perfect. Yeah, hardstyle. I know. All right. So the next comment is a good one. And I was really happy that somebody actually finally asked me about this. So a lot of comments from my players on my 5X server is that loot isn't the best despite me cleaning up the junk. Maybe something in depth about loot, gather rates, crafting times, and retaining players. This is a fantastic question and it lets me know that this person is in a great mind frame, looking at things from the player's perspective and wanting to do better. So that's absolutely fantastic. So I have spent a lot of time on previous videos. And this is telling me that I need to do more videos on this subject. We're not going to go into the details tonight, of course, but I will take the opportunity to say your loot table and how you manage your loot table is an ongoing process. You're basically, I'd feel comfortable saying that you're never done editing your loot table, ever. You're never going to get it to a point where you can say, okay, I no longer need to do anything on my loot table. That's just never going to happen. Wicked Sun. If Rust is the survival of the fittest, then what's your top strategy for surviving the chat? Well, there's a lot of things you can do to clean up your... I'm assuming you're talking about your in-game server chat. There's a lot of things you can do to clean that up. Like better chat filters. Yeah, better chat filters. That's what I would go to. So if there's certain words that you don't want to see in your chat, you can actually filter those words out. Steam has actually also implemented a way that you can clean up your in any Steam in-game chat by turning on, I want to say it's called PG-13 protection or something like that, and you set that up, or you turn that feature on in your Steam account, not in your Rust account, and then it will actually censor out certain words. But on that note, I don't know, man. Getting into like real world things like censorship and stuff like that, is it really worth it? I don't know. I want to see my chat, no matter how mean it is, no matter how nice it is, I want to see my chat as it's meant to be. But that's just me. And then the next comment was from Lone Design, Lone Design Channel, but we all know him as Lone. Mentioned already, but you should definitely look at Caruso's work. His custom vehicles is nuts. We've recently added UFOs to Mars, and they're incredible and super fun and easy to fly. So again, as you can see, there's definitely a theme developing here. Most of these comments are directed at Caruso's vehicles plugin. So we're going to be talking about that very, very soon. Aaron Fox, is there a server host provider that you would personally recommend? Absolutely. And that is icedhost.com. You'll see it in the video description down below because they're actually a partner of mine. And if you use promo code srtbull at checkout, you will actually save 20%. No, sorry, you'll save 30% for your first 2 months. No info on Rust tick rate. Tick rate, I could spend a lot of time talking about tick rate. Schminkins. Ooh, if I could delete that, I would. No, I wouldn't actually delete that. I've never deleted a single comment ever in my life, so I wouldn't start now. I have beef with that comment though. Anyways, we'll just leave it at that. If Rust had a life coach feature, would you be the one telling us to touch grass or farm more scrap? Great question. I like that. I like how you worded that. I would say touch grass. All of us, me included, spend way too much time in front of our computers, in front of our screens, on our phones. Go touch grass. Oh, see, Schminkins, you deleted something. And I don't get to see what that was. Yeah, Aaron, I've spent a lot of time with Iced Host. So I should probably preface that with, if you're in an area that has that Iced Host provides servers for that are close enough to you that you're comfortable with, they're my number one go-to, hands down, no question. I've spent a lot of time with them. I played a tiny role in the way their dashboard is set up. Some of the functionalities and features of it are me. So yeah, yes. Lambo 7000, how's it going? My server is set to 60. I have a dedicated Ice host as my host. Yeah, so Mr. G, that is Not So Mama. For those that may not know, Not So Mama in my Discord runs his own series of Rust servers, of course. So So I just reached this point on my server and game modding experience. Spent about 15 days getting everything set up and ready to launch. Finally launched yesterday. Staying steady at 1 player online. I'm assuming that's you. That's okay. Don't feel bad about that. That 1 player online, if it's not you, that player is your #1 priority right now. No, Schmenkins, you weren't crossing a line. I was giving you a hard time. Oh my. Sorry about that. I should have been more clear. No. My chat is 100%. You guys can literally say whatever you want. If YouTube flags one of your comments, that's between you and YouTube, not me. I've never deleted a single comment. You're all good, man. Seriously, I was only giving you a hard time. Yeah, exactly. OBG. If you build it, they will come eventually. This is not a fast game. This is a long-term thing. You have to invest. So you might sit there with 1 player for a week, 2 weeks, a month. You may never get over that 1 player. Who knows? I've seen servers rise and fall within 3 months. I've seen servers rise and they're still successful today, years later. There's so many different aspects to this. It's hilarious. Working on a touch grass plugin. I'd be interested to see what that means. On a scale of 1 to go outside, how badly do I need a rust break if I start calling the neighbors offline raiders? I love it. All right, so let's go back to the comments here. So Pablo of Morales gave me 3 different suggestions. 1, better NPC versus bot respawn. I've put that in my notes. I definitely want to cover that. I feel that the perceived overlap of better NPC versus bot respawn, I think you're going to be curious to know that they're not that similar of a plugin. And number 2, Caruza's vehicles and what the hell is going on there. So we're definitely going to get into that. And then number 3, of course, is skill tree. And while I'm happy with, let's put it this way. I've seen some really good iterations of the skill tree. Okay, I was going to say no. I'm not going to say no. I'm going to change it to a yes. I'm going to put it on my list and get it done. I've seen some really good iterations of the skill tree. I've also seen some really bad iterations of the skill tree. So I'll put it on the list and I will definitely get to that one for sure. Old Guy Gaming. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Dio Brando touch grass plugin equals VAC detectable tool. Interesting. Interesting. I don't really know what you mean by that, but it sounds serious. Schminken says having at least 1 pop is critical. Just AFK on it and have your friends AFK. At some point, you'll begin getting new players. Absolutely. And I've said this in the past more times than I can count. If you're not doing anything on your computer, you need to be logged into your Rust server. No question. No server out there that is trying to grow should be sitting at 0 players ever. What? Hardstyle? What? 44 viewers and only 25 likes? Come on. Asked you guys for one thing, one simple thing. Click that like button for me, man. It is like a business, except it's a business that you probably won't make any money from in quite some time, which I guess essentially that is like a business. Most business owners don't expect to take a profit from their company for their first 5 years. So that's fair. That is a fair assessment. Heard a heli going to the hospital yesterday while I was at my desk, and I wasn't sure whether I should hide under my desk or shoot at it. I love it. Mr. G, that is a funny comment. There were rumors quite a while ago now. We're talking probably 4 or 5 years ago that type of stuff was going to be implemented into the game, including female players having a different responsibility that they had to take care of every so often as compared to male characters versus female characters. So you might be onto something there. Could be something that is in the vast entities of what does Shadowfrags call it? Subject to change category or something like that. I have this rock near me that looks exactly like the rust stone node. I'll post. Yeah, absolutely. Send me that picture. I've had people send me barrels, pictures of barrels. I've had people send me pictures of what look to be supply drops. Yeah, it's kind of funny actually. Exoida, it's like sort of like owning a restaurant. Yeah, exactly. It takes time. You have to build, and for a long time, you might be investing money in this and never seeing a return for months and months. Who knows? Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, I guess technically you could call that gender roles. I guess. Yeah. Who's honking? That was the wife. She just got home from work. That was her car starter setting up. What would male characters get? The man flu? Exactly. The man flu would take men down for sure. So Wizla posted a comment also endorsing that I cover Caruza's vehicles. So again, we're going to do that. So this comment was interesting to me. A video editing series including in-depth stuff, for example, the map overview scenes from Tesla's Rust videos, but also some more basic stuff like what to do after a demo is recorded, how to record the actual video at the point from different POVs, and for plugins, maybe show some alternatives to what you've uploaded now. Example, check out David on CodeFling as an alternative to Amino's plugins, or for Amino's plugins. And this is a really great point. So let's talk about the second section there first, David versus Amino. Honestly, so when you start seeing a trend where I'm covering a specific plugin developer, chances are pretty good that developer reached out to me and said, here you go, let's work on this, let's get this out there. So if I don't hear from somebody, if I don't hear from a developer, chances are pretty good that I don't go down that path, especially once I've found an alternative to what they're working on. Now, none of this is to say that I won't cover David's plugins, because that's absolutely not what I'm saying. If David reached out to me and we started working out some, what he wants to see and stuff like that, then I'm all for it. All for it. I don't have a specific affinity. Like if two developers create the same plugin, well, here, I'll use the skinning plugins, for example. So I've covered the free one from UMod. I've covered Kill-Use version from Chaos Code. I've covered Skinner, which is my favorite. But I've covered multiple skinning plugins, and I don't have an affinity to each one until I've spent time with it and decided, okay, this one is better in these different categories. And in this case, Skinner V2 is a great example there. So I covered a whole bunch of different skinning plugins, and I chose one that I promote on my own, maybe more than the other ones. But I'm not opposed to it. So Caruza is in chat saying, I hear Caruza guy is pretty cool. I don't know. I'm hearing some good stuff about this guy. How do I increase the spawn counts for motorcycles? Well, you go through your console, you find the motorcycle CVAR that you're looking for, and you change the number that's associated with it. Chances are pretty good that it's default at 1 right now. You could change that to 2, and that would obviously double your motorcycle count. Yeah, he apparently likes vehicles. He likes creating custom vehicles. My server, yeah, so Hoy, yeah, it probably will. In fact, you could probably even set it lower right now. Set it to 30 and see how that goes. I love Skinner, but users don't know half the features that are there. I agree. There's a lot of features built into Skinner that if you weren't familiar with the plugin or you hadn't watched my video on it, you might not know those features are there. Absolutely. That comes down to you as the server owner too. Like, you have to figure out a way, whether that's, you know, server info or welcome controller or David's plugin, which is welcome. I think it's welcome. I forget. Sorry. David has a similar plugin that will present information to your players as they join your server. So, and that's up to you to let your players know what the features and functionalities are available for each of the individual plugins. What kind of box config? I think that might have been a response to somebody else. AI Think Zero can help performance a lot. Yeah, so if you turn off all of your AI functionality, that's your animals, your scientists, all that stuff. If you turn that off, it will improve your performance for sure. Schmeckens, Kate, I will check that out after the stream. Limiting frames can cause a bottleneck. That is true, but 30 FPS will not cause that in most cases. Try finding the server and the modded. Oh, okay. Sorry. Yep. Released Mike's gaming channel. Just started my first server. It was hard at first to figure everything out, but your videos have helped me out massively. Thank you. Well, thank you for taking the time to let me know that. That is exactly what I was intending to do with this channel. I struggled for months, if not years, setting up all this stuff by myself, and I wanted to bring it to the community to have a resource that everyone can go to answer all of the questions or figure out the complications that they might run into. So that, again, thank you for taking the time to message that. Welcome panel. That's the one I was trying to think of, by David. All right, let's, we've only got a couple of more of these. Let's see, which one are we at here? This is, I don't know. I had them numbered, and for whatever reason, I can't see my numbers. All right, so Wojoy's not there. Wojoy's not there. I'm sorry. Love your vids. Help me so much. My content request is plugin preview. You always show us the latest and greatest of all of the necessary plugins, but what about reviewing all of the plugins so many of us can see and understand the plugin before we install? Maybe we could just go to your channel, search the various plugins, check out your tutorial/review, and decide if we want it or not. I've seen so many plugins that sound amazing in the description, but I wonder if they're actually worth using. I would love a resource as thorough as yours to be able to check them out before I install. That would be great. Cheers. Thank you so much for all your shared knowledge and contributions to the community. So this is my ego like exploding because I love the kind comments that everyone always leaves for me. As far as having somewhere to test out a plugin before you decide to buy it is a fantastic idea. So now I'm wondering, why server owners or why plugin developers aren't hosting these plugins where people can go try them out before they decide to buy. Interesting. Super, super interesting concept. That is a great comment. So I put it to the plugin developers that do watch this channel. Why don't you do that? I know my videos are fairly thorough, but I don't often get into the actual, like, what the player would see. I teach more what the admin sees. So that's super interesting. Why is my website being posted in chat? I'm wondering. Oh, yep. There we go. Yes, I do have a website, srtbull.com or rustadminacademy.com. And that will soon, hopefully, be changed a lot because I'm working on something that is massive. Massive. Can't wait to tell you guys about it. Separate plugin review channel. Yeah, that's interesting. That is a lot of plugin videos. That is absolutely for sure. They don't even play test the plugins themselves. I don't know. No, I'm sure there are some developers out there that don't do their due diligence. But most are literally, they have their coding on one screen, they have the game on another screen, and they're literally making changes like in real time in most cases. This is really interesting. See, this is why I do this. So I get just as much from you guys as you get from me. This whole concept of hosting a plugin on a server so that potential customers can try it out before they buy it. This is a fantastic idea. So I'm surprised we haven't seen Death in chat yet, but if Death is watching, you should be thinking about this. Hoy Hoy, can you tag me in that so that I get it later? The messages go by so quickly in my Discord. Sometimes if I'm not looking right at it, I'll miss that. So Hoy Hoy, you can either DM directly to me or tag me in it, whichever works better for you. A lot of plugin makers do have that. I've covered a lot of plugins and I don't know that I mean, sure, some do. Like Nicodemus, I know he has that, but he's not like, he does that for himself, not for his customers. So it's, yeah, Caruza, there you go. See? Exactly. Maintaining such a server would be a nightmare. Too many plugins. No. I'm not talking about a server that has all of these plugins. I'm talking about the developer having one server for one plugin or 5 plugins or whatever. No. See, Mr. Blue, no. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying have all of these plugins on one server. That's absolutely not what I'm saying. Like, take one developer that has like 5 or 10 plugins and have a server that is dedicated just for that one developer. Schmenkins, that's coming. Major overhaul coming in the very new, I want to say by January 2025, but don't hold me to that because we're in very, very early stages of that. But it's going to be a drastic change, which is why months and months ago I put it out on my Discord that I wanted to find people that were interested in writing articles. We didn't get a whole lot of traction there, so I'm hoping to hit that up again. But yeah, so that's all coming. Love honey? Love honey? What? Just so that everybody's aware, I'm not in control of the ads that you will see on this video. Yeah, 3 monitors for the win. Yep, absolutely. Xanders, great question. Thank you for reminding me. Did you hear anything more from the developer who was working on random bases, or was it all just talk? It's not just talk. The guy is very, very serious. But no, I don't have any new information for you on that. I can't be tagged? No, that's not true. I can be tagged. I get tagged all the time. Do you know a good plugin for VPN anti-cheat? Basically something to stop cheaters or at least slow them down. So I did kind of reference that a little bit earlier. You're not going to find a plugin that does all the work for you and like slowing them down. No. So the best way to combat cheaters on your server is to use plugins to identify them, and then you go in and do your own research on those players. Then there's 3 or 4 that I would recommend to you. Automated stash traps is a good one. It's a good ESP buster. What's another one? I use this is hilarious that I have to go look at the name of it, because I use Arcan in my real-time server. But again, it just notifies you that there's a player that requires some investigation. You have to go in and actually do the investigation yourself. No plugin out there is going to make it so that you don't have to do any work. Players will become regulars on the test servers or never leave. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. If a player comes to a test server and they want to stay there, that's totally fine. Yeah, Mr. Blue, that's a good point. Problem for a server with testing is that a lot of plugins interfere with each other, plus giving out admin access to a random server is also an issue. I agree. But that's where these ideas come from. They start from this little seed and then they turn into something down the road that could actually really help people out. Is there a plugin that can see where all my FPS goes? I have a server. Normally it ran at 145 FPS, but for a few weeks now I don't get more than 35. Haven't really changed anything. Well, so if you're talking about server FPS, you should never be at 145 anyways. Have been talking throughout this whole stream, basically 30 to 40, maybe to 50 FPS is all you need for server FPS. If you're talking client FPS, that's totally different. Okay, so Mr. G in chat is Not So Mama in my Discord. Yeah, so you can message him directly. David, what's up, man? Welcome. Now, David, are you the David that we were just talking about? Are you David the developer? I know it's kind of silly to ask because there's obviously more than one David out there. Most plugins are not profitable. A monthly server bill would be death for most. I'm creating my own plugins. It's painful to count the hours without any guarantee it will do well. That's true. But I also feel that if you're in it for the money, like if you're only in it for the profit, you're in it for the wrong reason. What kind of articles do you need written? All of the articles. What I'm looking for is blog posts of interesting information that will be helpful to other server owners, stories, advice, anything is what I'm looking for. In your Discord, you can't be tagged. I tried tagging you in the rock picture in general, but it didn't work. Okay, I will do my best to go back and search for that then. Battlemetrics, you can prevent VPNs and players with X amount of bans. You absolutely can. I use Steam server checks for ban checking. I also use, what else do I use? Ultimate Archon helps me with that a little bit. There was another one that I'm trying to think of here. Oh, Rust Admin, excuse me. Rust admin, the standalone Archon system will also block VPN usages as well as family sharing, I believe. To be honest, do a good overview video of your plugin helps a lot. Yes, that is true. A lot of people will go to a doc page for a plugin, and if there's no video there, they keep on scrolling, believe it or not. All right, let's go back to my comments here, my posted comments. So the friendly chap, I think this is the last one, but I'll check that here in just 1 second. The friendly chap 4132, Caruza's vehicles are pretty awesome, but if you want to get more long format, a video on in-game actions often misinterpreted as cheating and how to tell the difference. That is a great idea. Another great idea is a step-by-step Ubuntu or pterodactyl setup. And so for that one, because I'm not familiar with Linux, nowhere near comfortable with Linux, I would probably farm that out to somebody else. But that is a great idea. I would love to see that actually happen. So let me work on that one. And then how to balance shop prices. So balancing shop prices, balancing your economy, period, on your server is probably one of the more difficult things that you're going to do. Oh, David. Oh, okay, so that's a different. Yeah, so I'm glad I asked. So you're not that David. Okay. So balancing shop prices is incredibly difficult because you can easily break the economy on your server, especially if you're allowing buying and selling. So how to set that up? This is a great video idea, and I look forward to doing that. I will have to spend some time. I don't use shops on my server for this exact reason. Because it's so incredibly difficult to not break your economy. So anyways, that was the last comment that I got on that video or on that post. So we can shut that down and I can just spend time with you. All right. When buying a plugin, how long do you expect a plugin to be supported for? Some people will buy a plugin and come back after 5 years later, after it breaks, after some updates, and ask for a refund. How would you deal with that? So me personally, my relationship with a developer that I've bought a plugin for starts and ends with that purchase. If they continue to update their plugin for any length of time afterwards, I take that as a bonus. A lot of what you're... So what I would do in that case is I would want to learn that plugin inside and out so that if something broke, I can actually go in and fix it myself. Does that kind of answer your... That's a great question, Mr. Blue, and I appreciate that. I don't expect developers to support their plugins forever. I just don't, because like if we take the heavy hitters that are out there right now, like even just kill you. Like the fact that he's still in this game, what are we, 15 years later, is phenomenal and not at all expected. So I think once you've purchased the plugin, I think a little bit of onus goes on that purchaser to learn how to fix the plugin if something breaks in the future. And I know that what I'm saying here is going to be controversial because it's going to entail people learning C#. Is that a bad thing? No, I don't think so. I think it's good that people learn C# and can learn the ins and outs of oxide or carbon and can learn how to fix the things that they come up with. Plus, nowadays with AI, you don't even have to learn. Like you can plug the error into ChatGPT and say, how do I fix this error? It spits you out a response. You slide that into your .cs and boom, you're good to go. In a lot of cases, not every case, but it does help. Discord link in the description seems to not work. Keep getting invalid invite error. Oh my goodness. Could you imagine if that were the case? Try that. Who's going to support the developer for, who is going to do the support for the 12 to 6 months if the developer disappears? Well, you, sorry, bud. So first of all, if a developer is getting paid for that plugin, if they ghost, they need to stop getting paid. No question. If they are on one of the sites that are currently out there, whether that's CodeFling or Loan.design, whichever, if they ghost their customers, it would probably fall back onto the host of the site, which a little bit of responsibility falls there, because that the site also made money off of that purchase as well. So there's a little bit of responsibility there. But eventually you would mark that plugin as decayed to a point beyond repair, and you would just stop selling it. That's just my opinion. It might not be a popular one, but that's just my opinion. If a plugin is not being supported, it should be pulled from the sale. It's not fair to ask the purchaser to fix a plugin they have bought. That's a good point. That's a good point, but I do believe that your relationship starts and ends with the purchase. And nowhere in there does anybody say that they guarantee that this plugin is going to work for X amount of time. So really, once you have the product in your hands, Xander's, I know it's breaking plugins too, but for people that are familiar with C# or some sort of coding, it can help. It can help. I'm not advising that people do that, but yeah, it can help. I'm not a fan of AI by any stretch of the imagination, but no, Mr. Bloom, no, they don't get a refund. So again, I'll say it again, the relationship starts and ends with the purchase. So in this case, that example that you give, they got to use it for that month. So all sales are final. Exoida, exactly. Couldn't have said it better myself. If it's there for sale and expectation is that it's working, yeah, and me too. That's how I look at it too. But there's different aspects to that too. Like a lot of plugins out there, you can't just throw it on your server and say it works or it doesn't work. There's stuff that you have to know how to do in order to make it work on your server. So interesting. There's business laws that need to be followed. Okay, that goes into an area that I'm not familiar with, but yeah, that's a good point, actually. So bought a plugin from Loan.design called Boogie Bomb 6 weeks later. Face Punch broke it. Should I get a refund? No, I don't think that you should. I think the developer has a responsibility to work on that plugin and try and fix it. But if they can't, no. It is expected to work at least at the time of sale. I agree. So I'm not going to read that one out, but that is I'm disappointed to hear that, especially considering that I know the people that work at CodeFling. It wasn't a malicious move. I can guarantee you that wasn't a malicious move, but I understand it. Yeah. So plugin sites selling out-of-date plugins or broken plugins. I think it's up to the curator to make sure that plugins are working. And the only way to do that is to keep track of the comments that are being made or pay attention to the support requests that are coming in for any plugin. To know that there's an issue and that maybe you need to step in as the curator and either disable that plugin or put a note on it saying whatever, at least some sort of an update. What was the problem where every X amount of seconds it would Rubbermaid like there was a plugin or command to address that? Yes, I do remember that. I forget what the fix for it was, but I do remember it was fixed by Facepunch. We had a plugin to fix it for a while, and then Facepunch fixed the issue. I can't remember the details there. Hardstyle says, to be honest, all sales should be final, and the terms on the site should state that if a developer abandons a plugin and doesn't fix it, another developer can take it over. And that is exactly what happens at UMod, is if a developer ghosts, another plugin can pick up that project and take it over. I can't speak for CodeFling or Loan, but I do know that that is the case with UMod. But those are also all free. When you start dealing with somebody's intellectual property that was paid for at a certain point in time, there's obviously some complications that can come up there. A lot of customers are not happy with the all sales or final approach. We get so many refund requests after months or years of use demanding a refund because it broke. I understand that. I do. But honestly, if you don't like the terms and conditions supplied by a host, I don't care who it is. If you don't like it, don't buy it from them. It's as simple as that. Why don't you make updated videos on kits like for JSON kits or amino kits or linking with TebEx? There's so many old videos on the old simple /kits. Good point. And there's not a specific reason why I don't, except not a lot has changed in most of those plugins. I could do updated videos on all of my videos going back 5 years ago. But not a lot of fundamental changes have been made. For the ones that do have fundamental changes, I do work on updating those videos. It's very, yeah, I know, Mr. Blue. Honestly, I don't know how you do it. So Mr. Blue says it's very hard to keep track of all of the products on a site as big as Loan or UMod to make sure they all work. I totally get that, and I admire your dedication to the cause. I don't know how big your team is. I assume it's not just you, but yeah, I'm in awe in how you do it. All right, so there we go. We got caught up. All right. Anyone excited for Better Loot V2? Better Loot V2? What is that? I love Better Loot. I used to use Better Loot all the time. All the time. I've only just recently, like maybe this year, switched to Alpha Loot, and I probably wouldn't ever go back. But so let's see, is there talk about Better Loot V2? Where did you hear / read that there's a V2 coming? I'm excited about that. Sorry. UMod is slow. I tried releasing plugins on there and no one reviews them. It's not that no one reviews them. Chances are pretty good that if you didn't get approved, there's a reason. Okay, so there you go. So that is a direct response from one of the curators of UMod. So not even established developers, no, even established developers don't get through the queue. All plugins are stuck, not just a select few. There you go. Great answer. Why spend time reviewing UMod plugins when you can do it for CodeFling and get paid instead? I don't know that you could get paid to review plugins. All plugins matter. Okay, you guys are going into a weird area. A magical organization is doing V2. Hit me up. I want to know about that. Can you message me in Discord real quick so that I can come back to it after? Lipstick, what's happening? Thoughts on TikTok server owners that have a following base of TikTok viewers on their server instead of growing organically? My thoughts on that are, if you're getting players to your server using TikTok, I say power to you. There's nothing wrong with that. And don't pretend like using social media is not growing organically. If you get players in your server from YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, I don't care where they come from. If they land in your server, that's organic growth. Don't care. Can we do wipe full automatic? Yes, you can. There are services out there that provide exactly that service. I've been trying to do this video for over a year now. I want to do a video showing you that exact process. There's been complications along the ways, but yes, Lipstick, we can do that. And I intend to do that. UMod unfortunately doesn't make money to pay reviewers, but does anybody pay reviewers? I didn't know that was a thing. No, Joseph, no, that is not happening. Please don't let that happen. Oh my God. No reviews for 5 months. Yeesh. I hope that's not true. Mr. Blue, is that true? 5 months? My good spirit says I had the same problem with Drawbridge. The guy was still writing plugins for Rust, but the Drawbridge didn't work anymore. And it said it was no longer maintained, but he still keeps the rights so nobody can take it over. I think that shouldn't be possible. Let someone else take it over if it's a good plugin, and don't sit on your rights. Intellectual property dictates that if you're there and you don't want to give it up, you shouldn't be forced to give it up. There's a really weird story that goes along with that I won't get into on stream, but there have been situations where people have been forced to give up their IP. Granted, they weren't premium products, they were free. Maybe that's the difference. I'm not sure. Waiting for the magical people to finish the build server stuff too. Yes, soon. #TM. Yeah. Codefling pays their curators. I didn't know that. I did not know that. That's good to know. That's cool. I fear though that would drive people to like rush through them. I wonder if there's any responsibility or onus left on the person that approves a plugin that has problems down the road. Yeah, no, Hardstyle, I will check my DM. I typically check my DMs after the stream. I think it's rude to sit, like if I was sitting on my phone, that's kind of rude. Some plugins have MIT license. Okay, fair enough. I don't forget, how this goes is every time I end a stream, I go directly. I let because my OBS has to remux the video, and I can't do anything. Basically, can't do anything while it's doing that. So I go to my Discord right after. So David sent. Okay, so you sent me a ping. Okay, good. I will check into that after the stream. All right, caught up on chat. So, just so that it's noted, we're at 48 viewers right now and only 32 likes. What's up with that? What's up with that? 32 likes on 48 viewers? Come on. If people modify the plugin for their own servers, it is fine. I agree. Technically, once you buy that, now, okay, so I'm going to be careful here. Once you buy that plugin, you can do basically whatever you want, but if you try to resell that plugin to somebody else, I'm going to chase you down and do bad things to you. There you go. Lipstick, yes, I can. I would prefer that you were able to wait for the video to come out on that. It is a provider, there's a service provider that does it all for you, which is fantastic. A lot of licenses actually don't allow you to modify it even for your own use. Yes, I know. That's true. That's true. Yes, and breaking license. Yeah, absolutely. If you mess with somebody's code and then come back to them later for assistance with it, they can say piss on you, and I would fully support that. Not all developers code the same. That's a big important difference. Each coder kind of has their own flavor of doing things. Absolutely. Yeah, unexpected void. Absolutely. You cannot redistribute or claim it as your own work. If you paid for it and the dev left, it's fair game. I don't know. I don't think so. If you paid for something and you ever try to redistribute it, whether that developer is still around or not, I don't agree that you should be allowed to do that. Profiting from somebody else's IP is not okay. That's literally plagiarism. There's also a really important aspect here. Like, I will say a lot of North Americans forget that we're talking about a global situation here. So just because something is legal or illegal in, let's say, the United States, that doesn't necessarily mean that that same law applies in Germany or somewhere else around the world. Like, so you can say, yeah, I'm protected by this license in this country. But that doesn't necessarily stand true for everywhere around the world. How do you make an automatic wipe system? So it is here. I'll just show you guys real quick because I've seen that come up a couple of times. There is a website out there called rustwipes.com. I'm going to show you the website, but I do plan on doing an in-depth tutorial on how this service works. But if you want to go to rustwipes.com and check it out for yourself, you definitely can. So you can set up triggers, you can set up schedules, you can set up various different things to automatically wipe your servers for you. This is kind of like a preview thing that I never do, but this is coming down the road. Here, I'm going to give you I'll post the actual address. There's the actual address. It makes updating great server. Okay, so you've seen that before. Cool. Yeah, the social ramifications of doing these greasy things that we're talking about right now, I agree. And I think the social ramifications will actually hurt somebody more. Super Rust, how's it going? Very unlikely a dev will sue for abandoned plugin. Mostly they will get tired. Yeah, they do get tired of maintaining it. Absolutely, that does happen. Blazing Bandits, how's it going? It's going very well. Thank you for asking. Heading into the weekend. It's November. It's cold out. It's not snowy out yet, but definitely looking forward to that in the coming, hopefully, short days. And you're welcome for what I do for the Rust community. I like to think I play just the tiniest little part in helping you guys out. The community that we've built around Rust Admin Academy has developed some incredible developers and moderators, and it's just been fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. We're adding rarity to Better Loot v2. Create rarity groups in crates, control output amounts, control group rarity chance, and customize item rarity within each group. And that is something that was missing from Better Loot, is rarity. Ungrouped is considered its own group. Okay, well, put it in my hands, man. When can I see it? If you can sell me on Better Loot over Alpha Loot, we'll have a great conversation. I promise. Blazing Bandits with the $10 super chat. Thank you so much, man. Have a coffee on me. I will absolutely do that. Except that it probably won't be a coffee. It'll be one of these. Thank you so much. Peachy Viking, finally. Where have you been? Schmenkins. Exactly. What a great analogy right there. I agree with that. Chris, strength and fitness, low-key a legend in front of us throughout the Rust community. Well, I definitely try, that's for sure. Sometimes I feel like I don't do a very good job. In other cases, I think I'm doing too much. So it's I appreciate that. Thank you, Chris. Yes, cheers to you as well. All right, so I feel like I've definitely addressed all of the comments that I wanted to on that specific post. Great conversation, you guys, tonight. This has been awesome and a little bit unexpected, actually. I don't normally get this level of engagement from chat, so this has been really good. Playing a game called The Tenants while watching a movie. Can't believe I missed your live notification in Discord. Hey, there's always next time. So we will be doing a live stream next Friday. So for those that might be confused about the timing of it, next Friday we'll be doing server audit. So if you're interested in that, make sure you go to, actually here, let me do it like this. Dum-dee-dum-dum. How long does it take? Is it going to be super slow? If you don't hit the like button, you don't support. Exactly. Mikhail, perfect. All right, so there you go. So if you want to be a part of the audit stream, which will be happening next Friday at the same place, same time, you have to go fill out that form on the screen in the chat right now. An important note there is I will be wiping that very, very soon. Not before next Friday though. So we've got about 170-ish servers on there right now. So probably, let's say, actually here, let me make a commitment. Let's commit to, for the December audit stream, it's going to be a fresh list. So if you've posted or if you've submitted your server up until now and going into November, you're good. But after the December stream, I'm going to wipe that list. So starting in January of 2025, it's going to be a fresh list and you will have to resubmit your servers again. Blazing Bandit says, on my end, I've been speaking with Amino about the one mod I'm having developed that I talked to you about. He's on the finishing end of it. Should have, whoop, just lost you there. Should have something to show you soon. Okay, I look forward to seeing that. And interesting that you've heard from Amino because he's ghosting me. Of all people, Amino is ghosting me. Super Rust with the $9.99 US super chat. Have more coffees. I will most definitely have more coffees. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Can you give me an honest server rating? We just basically finished everything from your tutorials. The server name is Vozel Rust 2X. So I highly suggest that you get on the audit stream, on the audits list, so that I can go in and actually check it out on stream. But I'm writing your name down right now, Vozel Rust 2X. And the only reason why I'm doing that right now is because I prefer 2X servers. So I don't mind going in and having an extra look at a 2X server. Any thoughts on the new Rust lookalike game, Duck Slide? Never heard of it. Never heard of it. So I have no opinion there. Learning from a plugin is one thing. Copying the code from within or trying to resell a modified version is completely different. I agree. IP theft is a huge thing, and it's something that I've advocated against since the implementation of this channel. Like, I've always said that I'm here to make developers more money so they keep creating more products that we all need and love, and to protecting those developers from the hack sites, the people that just piss me off to no end. Those were two of my main goals when I first started this channel, was making developers more money and protecting their code from being stolen and other people making money off of the work that they've done. Amino ghost us all. No, I have a direct line of communication with Amino. I can call him literally whenever I want. No, No. He's busy. I know what he's doing. I know why I haven't heard from him, and it's totally okay. He's going to come back. He's very busy. I do know that. He's working on IRL things that are probably going to change his lifestyle a little bit. A little bit. Yeah, I'm all for developers getting paid. People shit on me all the time about, I'm basically grifting for these developers. I'm, CodeFling and Loan Design and MyVector and, all of these different sites that I promote all the time. Yeah, I'm grifting for them because I want them to be able to sit in front of their computer and not have to worry about a day job and just create these things. So I'm all for it. If a good plugin is abandoned, someone will fill the gap with a new plugin. Not a real problem. IMO subscriptions are not a thing with plugins. I don't want to see subscriptions. There's talk about using a subscription platform for code protection and stuff like that. That is one concept that is out there right now. I don't want to see subscriptions. People are already paying ridiculous dollars for their Netflix, their all of these other streaming services. I don't want to make Rust another one of them. There are subscriptions with, yeah, that's true. There are yeah, there are. That's true. I don't love that though. There's literally a dev here that sells subscriptions. I want to know who you're talking about and what, because I can only think of two. I can think of two services that are subscription based. Well, three if you include Tebex. Jaco asks, how much RAM and stuff do you recommend for big pop servers? As much as you can possibly throw at it is my simplest answer. If you can afford it, 64 gigs of RAM all day long. I'll pass 5-month create up. I pass 5-month creative money if I ask 15. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Schmenkins with the $10 super chat. How much shampoo do you use? Surprisingly, more than 0. I guess it's not technically shampoo. Good question, though. But what you might use in shampoo, I use in shaving cream. There you go. Because I have to shave my head like every 2 days. Yeah, I'm not. I don't love the subscription. Old, yeah, me too. Yeah. The Peachy Viking, now that you've had a month to play the new update, how are you liking it? I love it. I'm noticing some performance drops, which we were promised performance gains. So that part's a little bit confusing to me. I don't think it's on my end. I think it's the server. And my Grafana panel is telling me that it's the server. So I'm interested to see those things improve over the next, especially this coming update. You are asking the questions that we need the answers to. Absolutely. I agree. 192 gig top saw was 15 gig. So big server, 32 gig should be enough. Yeah, for a while, but make sure you've allowed room to grow. So 32 gig might be okay for 100 to 150 players, depending on your entities and your map size. But hopefully you have the ability to go to 64 as soon as possible. Lipstick. Yeah, absolutely. That's a serious machine. Great start. Absolutely. I wish there was a mod where you can tie a chain between handcuffed players, like in a war when you captured enemies, you have them in line chain together. Cool idea. Yeah, Mr. Blue, that's a great point. Some things just require subscriptions because of the costs associated with running it, like Rust maps and Pay Now. Yeah, I agree. The one that I was thinking of quietly in my head was Rank Evol is one of them. The Rust wipes is another one, would be a subscription based service. And like I said, Tebex is one for sure. Interested in a Grafana versus Carbon polling video. Those are two very different things. I think you're talking about carbon profiling, and I guess you could get similar information, but Grafana, that's all Grafana does is profiling. So I'm not saying no, I'm just saying it would be hard to take both of those services and try to make a comparison between the two of them. Battlemetrics is another subscription, absolutely. Yeah. Human Centipede, exactly, right? Human Centipede of handcuffed victims. Yeah, David, that's a great point. Carbon profiling shouldn't be done in real time on a real server, like not for long periods of time. You can use carbon profiling to go in and investigate something, but it's not like you would want to have that running all the time, for sure. Whereas Grafana, you do have running all the time, and it has no impact on the server whatsoever. Yeah, for testing only. Testing or diagnosing. No, David, no. David R. Noel, no. You wouldn't replace Carbon with Grafana. You wouldn't replace Grafana with Carbon, sorry. I think server owners who run high-pop servers wouldn't mind subs. It would be a downer for a new server, though. That's true, but they're also generating thousands of dollars in VIPs and donations and, yeah, all of that stuff. David, yeah, I'm curious to know how that conversation even came about. Carbon versus Grafana, those are two totally different services, and they really don't. You can't say one over the other because they're totally different. Chris, great question. Have you ever had a one-on-one meeting you dual live with Komomo? No, I haven't. Komomo's huge. I'm just a little guy. Komomo's huge. I've been on Komomo's radar one time. I reached out to him directly. But as far as like the whole, YouTube atmosphere thing, he's way bigger than me. I wouldn't be able to get the time of day out of him. Yes, the carbon profiler should be done in a live. Yes, absolutely. It is a tool that is available to be used on a live server, but it's not something you would be running all the time. You would be using the profiler while you're investigating or trying to fix a problem or whatever, and then you would turn the profiler back off again. Okay, yes. Okay, whispers. I'm sorry, I should clarify. The amount of overhead that Grafana adds to your server, you can have it running all the time and the performance hit would be negligible compared to running the carbon profiler 24/7. Reeps is asking, does IceHost have auto wipes and do you recommend them? IceHost is one of my first sponsors from way back in the day. So yes, I absolutely do recommend IceHost. They do have an auto wiping system or a scheduled wiping system, whichever works better for you. And I have a promo code. So if you're thinking about switching to IceHost, you can use srtbull at checkout and save 30% for your first 2 months. Exoida, in the grand scheme of things, at 20k subs, I'm pretty small fish. I'm not being humble, I'm being real. Do I have any experience with Shockbyte servers? Also, who server hosting service would you go with? North America, more specifically the US, absolutely, hands down, go with icehost.com. Use my promo code srtbull. I do have experience with Shockbyte, sorry. They're okay. I don't love them. I don't use Shockbyte. I use icehost for my own servers. Here's a power move, Grafana and Carbon, boom. Yeah, that's an interesting idea. No, it's not underrated. I don't feel like I'm underrated. I feel like I've picked a niche of a niche of a niche. I'm only going for a very select few people. Most of the people on YouTube don't care about what I'm talking about. Even most Rust players don't care what I'm talking about. So I'm only here for Rust server admins, which is, call it what you want. I might have shot myself in the foot. I'm not sure. But I do know that I have a growth limitation. I will never be as big as Komomo. I'll never be as big as Shadowfrags. I know that. Holy, you guys. Live, your video about Grafana is something small to understand. Example, I have multiple servers and when I tried to connect more than one to Grafana, they both died by infinite console spam and Grafana glitched. That's interesting. I currently have multiple servers on my Grafana panel. So I'd be curious to know what problem you ran into. And if you need help with that, I know the guy. Blood Rain, everyone is fully entitled to their opinion, but I I don't like saying things like that. You can, but I won't. I know who I support and why I support them, and that is icehost.com. And I'm okay with that. But I will not speak poorly about any of the other providers out there. Yeah, Schmickens, I've seen some really weird panels out there, like really weird, and they think, oh, we're the best, you know, blah, blah, blah. No, like I've seen some weird panels, and like they expect their customers to just know what to do. No, the icehost dashboard is like, no, anybody could run an icehost dashboard, no question. Oh, thanks. You guys are being too kind in chat now. That's not, I wasn't digging for compliments. I was just being real with you guys. I know my limitations. I do. Do you know how to make a wipe timer? So in a channel, you would have a countdown as a bot status. It will say, for example, wiping in 6 days and 16 hours. Yes-ish. I kind of have a solution for you there, Jaco. It's not exactly that, but it's close. Blood Rain, ever considered adding a second game to your lineup? I have multiple games actually, but I know that I would alienate my Rust community. I would have to start another channel. Is the long and the short of that. You have a good subscriber rate when you look at how many servers there are, since that's basically the max limit you could reach for an audience. Yes, I agree. It's about 150 to 180 per week is about my average. With Komomo, he just gives owners a good insight for catching cheaters. Yes, but he doesn't, though. He doesn't tell you how he does it. The amount of research that goes into a player that you suspect might be cheating before you put them on stream and go in and mess around with them is astronomical. You'd be surprised at how much research he does before he flips on his stream. Whispers says, can you consider doing a what's new video every now and then and just going through some of the new released plugins for that month? Ah, interesting. Interesting. So I have to, here, let me just finish writing this down. Great idea, Whispers. That's a good idea. I like that. There's something coming again in the new year that is going to affect people that are posting those in the Discord. People that are making money off of the Discord community, things are going to change for those plugins that are coming that are using the Discord to promote. Oh my God, that got totally screwed up. More to come on that later. Many videos you made helped me over the years on my server and still do sometimes. That's my point, is most of my videos are evergreen. So like even the videos that I did 5 years ago, which are absolutely terrible videos, the production quality was hilarious, but the content is still valid today. So that's why they stay up. Do you know how to get servers to display in the Rust server list? Can't seem to get mine on the list. I can only connect to it manually via the IP. So Andy Delameter, if this is a locally host server, make sure that your query port is defined and is open on your network. If you're with a hosted provider, make sure they've set up your query port correctly. Apologies, Blood Rain. I'm not sure what you would. No, don't apologize. And make sure that your IP is not blacklisted. That is a valid point. If for whatever reason your IP address is blacklisted, you'll never show up. For one server to connect is good tutorial, but for more than one in the same panel for dummies is probably would be a good idea for a video. I've done that. I've done running multiple Rust servers out of the same instance. There is a blacklisting checker, an IP checker. I would have to search for it. If somebody, I bet you Little Civ has it. There's an IP checker that you can use that you can put in your IP address and see if it's blacklisted. Timed X. What is? It's not hard though. It's just not spoken about. Yeah, I think if you're talking about Komomo and what he does on his channel, no, you're absolutely right. It's not difficult, and it's definitely not spoken about. Yeah, catching cheaters is not something that you're going to see people talking about publicly, because they use tools and techniques and stuff like that that we don't want anybody to know about. Unexpected void. So the comment was you could invite plugin developers to showcase their plugins live. I have put that out there so many times, it's hilarious. Nobody ever takes me up on it because they're not comfortable being on camera. Is normally the reason why I don't get that happen. I'd be all for that though. Absolutely. I'd like to see you go blind to different Rust server providers, set up a fresh server with a little customization and rate it. I could never do that. Once you've worked with the best, it's hard to unbiasedly critique somebody else's service. It just wouldn't be fair. Yeah, words are hard. Firewall or antivirus, that's true. That could be preventing it from showing up. Yep. No, there's a tool for look for your IP in here to see if it's blacklisted. So okay, here, let me see if I can find it real quick. I think I closed it months and months ago because I wasn't using it for anything. No, it's not where I thought it was. I think it's Lil Civ has it or something. Yeah, BMG Jet, your link didn't go through. Let me see. Can I do? Here, BMG. Let me do this here real quick. See if that gives you enough permission to post a link. Can you guys hear my cat in the background? He's starting to freak out. There you go. So BMG Jet just posted in chat there a link where you can go to check your IP address to see if you've been blacklisted or not. Jaco asked, can you help me with the wipe timer? Yes, I can. You'd want to hit me up in Discord so that I can get your message after this stream. No, my cat gets pissed off because he can hear me talking in here and he wants to see who I'm talking to and what I'm talking about. He's My wife is out there. He's fed. I know he's fed and petted and watered and everything. He's good to go. He's just pissed off because he can hear me talking. Okay, I'm going to shut down the stream. We're pushing up to 2 hours here, which is shocking. I thank you guys so much for that. I wasn't expecting this type of interaction. So thank you for the super chats that we got. Schmenkins, Super Rust, and Blazing Bandits all dropped some super chats for us. Mr. G became a gold member. YouTube memberships are open. So you guys can join there if you would like. And just making sure that I didn't miss anything there. And that looks good. Jaco, you only subscribed 4 days ago. And you're already this active in chat. That's fantastic. Okay. Thank you guys so much. So next week, we're doing the live server audit stream. That'll be after Face Punch's forced wipe that happens next Thursday. So next Friday will be live server audits. Make sure you go to, can't do it there, have to do it over here. Make sure you go here and submit your server to be audited, maybe on next stream. And yeah, exactly. My cat hates closed doors. Hates closed doors. Beast Radio, I was given a dual 10 core with 192 gigs of RAM. Would this be a good server to use? Yes, except that I don't like the multiple cores. You will Rust is a single core application. Anyways, I do have to shut it down. Sorry to kind of answer you short there, Beast Radio, but that is the nature of time, and that definitely sucks sometimes. Thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate every single one of you. If I can just make one last call out, we're at 47 likes. If you haven't liked this stream yet, be sure to do so now. Thank you all so much, and I'll see you next Friday. Peace out, everybody.